What's up, everybody? Welcome to week 109 of the Monday Night Wars. This is on the WCW side. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. I enjoy putting them out there. Archive them for whenever you want to go back and relive the Monday Night Wars. So we look at Nitro vs. Raw, the week 109. Nitro in totality has 90 wins. WWF has 17 wins and 2 draws. So once again, WCW 109 weeks in has 90 wins to WWF 17 and 2 draws. So they're beating the hell out of them. Nitro beats Raw for the 71st week in a row here in week 109. The score for Nitro was a 4.3 this week to Raw's 3.0. So they won by a difference of 1.3 on another hot week for wrestling on cable television, with both shows drawing over a 3.0. Nitro, obviously, this is one of their highest rated episodes ever, with the 4.3. As for this Nitro, it went live from Monday, December the 8th, 1997 on TNT from the Marine Midland Arena in Buffalo, New York. This was another night closing in on Starrcade, which is just a few weeks after this, and it's looking like a dream pay-per-view. We first see a shot of last week when Bischoff was lost for words against J.J. Dillon. Schiavone welcomes us to Pro Wrestling's #1 program. Today and Heenan are in the panel with them. Hollywood Hogan and Sting collide in the biggest match in the history of our sport, says Schiavone. Zbyszko isn't here as he is focusing on the NWO and Starrcade when he meets Bischoff, or when he was going to meet Bischoff anyway. Those were the plans back then. Over 19,000 fans live in the Buffalo's Marine Midland Arena where the Sabres play. It's been 4 weeks since we've seen Sting. Will he show up tonight is the question closing in on Starrcade. Ray Traylor took on Conan to open things up. They say tonight Ric Flair will be on television. Conan tried to take it to Traylor, but he lost the offensive momentum. Conan was sent down with inverted DDT. Conan with some offense, but the lights went off. The lights were off for up to a minute, and Conan is down and out. An NWO member is down and out. That's relevant to the lights coming off. Nobody knew what happened, but it was an NWO member and Conan being down. Traylor won after putting his boot on his chest to get the 3 count. And Schiavone says this is all mysterious. I gave it 3/4 of a star, and it's cool how that the night was getting the theme of the lights going off. Is that Sting? Well, whoever it is attacking NWO members. Steve McMichael then took on the Barbarian with Jimmy Hart. Both guys ready for a power match. Barbarian gets his running lariats. Mongo goes for a shot and big boot, but Steve McMichael puts him through the ropes with his body weight. Steve McMichael's head then driven into the steel steps. Barbarian jumps off the middle rope and gets chopped. Steve McMichael with forearms until Barbarian kept him off his feet. A pile driver spiked to the canvas floor by McMichael, who wins, and then he grabs Jimmy Hart after the match. Out comes Meng, the partner from the Barbarian in the Faces of Fear, and he comes out and gives him a Tonga death grip. Steve McMichael and Meng go at it in a fist fight until that Tonga death grip drives him to the ground. I really did the match a half a star. Mean Gene introduces perhaps the future TV champ, Disco Inferno, who has a TV title match with Saturn later on tonight. Bagwell came out to talk to Mean Gene. He says for years he's heard of the total package. Bagwell says to Gene that he's a nobody. Gene asks him if he's challenging Luger, and Bagwell says if he's got the guts. He says, I'm buff and I'm in Buffalo. And that's creative stuff by Bagwell. Malenko took on Prince Aoki. A standing side suplex, a ton of go behind switches. They both tried to work over the legs, the arms. This is a really good scientific match. Prince Aoki with a float over sunset flip, double knockdown mid-ring. Both men down, and Eddie on commentary took his shots against Malenko. Of course, they meet at Starrcade. Malenko with a knee to the gut after 2 standing switches, a power slam into the Texas Cloverleaf, and Malenko wins the match. I gave it 2.5 stars over Prince Aoki. They show Jim Kelly and Bruce Smith of the Buffalo Bills at ringside. Kevin Nash, Giant, I'm the True Giant World of Pro Wrestling. This is Nash following, has been brought to you by the New World Order. Nash takes shots at Giant, says he's not at 100% because of his chokeslam, because of his arm cast. Mean Gene then introduces Giant and says it's true, I am one-dimensional. It's easy to be one-dimensional when it's all you need at the chokeslam. So that's what he said there, as Giant and Nash are looking for a match at Starrcade. Chris Benoit then was supposed to take on Raven for the 3rd straight week, but he ends up taking on another member of the flock. This time Lodi, Lodi is the spelling. Benoit goes right for him with chops. He was ruthless before, but now that the flock are playing mind games, he's in a special mood. Benoit slams Lodi down Irish whip to the corner. No, he goes for the headbutt. He goes off the top with the headbutt, then puts him in the crippler crossface and wins the match. A simple semi-squash match that made Benoit look dominant. Gave it a 1.5 as he's still looking for Raven. Nitro girls dance in the ring. The second hour pyros go off. Mean Gene opens up hour 2 with an interview with the returning 13-time world champion Nature Boy Ric Flair. Flair goes off as usual with Gene Okerlund going, Mean Gene. He says, when you talk about Kurt Hennig, you have to talk about the whole NWO. Flair says Starrcade is coming, and I'm betting Sting to beat Hogan. He talks about the Outsiders not being invincible and how the Steiners will take care of them if need be. He mentions a cage with Hennig. 2 guys walk in there paying the price. Flair says he was at the first Starrcade in a cage against Race in 1983, and he's got to be there in this one. Flair talks about Brett, as Mean Gene says he might be joining the NWO. Flair says Brett has made the mistake as claiming himself the greatest of all time. He said, come to Charlotte and see the real deal. Flair being insecure again about who the greatest of all time is. Flair says comparing Hart to him is like comparing John Elway to Jim Kelly, who he bows to in the crowd. Hugh Morris takes on the Macho Man. Savage gets involved with the Bills at ringside, who chop him back and give him some clubbing blows. Morris with a power slam mid-ring goes for the no laughing matter, but an elbow drop is hit. Macho Man Randy Savage then got in control. He hit an elbow drop. He pulled Morris up, went for another elbow drop, pulled him up. And then all of a sudden the lights go off. Great suspense for the night, as it looked like Sting was there in the darkness. You could see him, one of the faded shots, when the lights were turned on for a picture, you could see a guy with face paint in the ring. But it didn't show a great footage of Sting in the ring. So what are the lights going off meaning? Just build suspense, and that's why I think this episode scored a 4.3, as it just builds suspense the whole night. Lights come back on, and Savage is down, and he's wearing a Sting mask, so no rating for the match. Bischoff and Rude come over to the broadcast area, and they come on the commentary and say that they know better, and if these lights keep going off, it's going to be their asses, even though the commentary team can't control the lights going off. But Bischoff was losing control, and he was getting desperate. Saturn defended the TV title against the Disco Inferno, who stomped away on Saturn in the corner. A pump handle suplex and a long count. The Disco Inferno defeated Saturn in the end after a variation of the Stunner. A star in 3/4, and the Disco Inferno is the new WCW television champion. Shivani says if the lights go out again, it'll once again be Shivani's fault. That was Bischoff that said if the lights go out again, it'll be Shivani's fault. Next up, we have a rematch from last week: Buff Bagwell versus Lex Luger. Luger not intimidated by Bagwell, who says he's the total package. Heenan talked about what Bagwell needed to do to beat Luger, and then they kind of turned on Heenan, saying, "What side are you on?" Half a star as Bagwell defeated Luger by countout. Luger was too much involved with the NWO members on the outside, so that gave Buff Bagwell the countout victory. Up next, we have DDP versus Scott Hall. Scott Hall takes his usual NWO survey, where the crowd were much louder in Buffalo for the NWO. Hall and Page work out each other's arms over. Standing abdominal stretch by Hall using leverage on the ropes. Hall asked for the outsider's edge, or crawled for it. He tried to put it on nice and slow, but Page ended up getting out of it, hitting him with a running lariat. Pancake 2 Hall by DDP, which is the prelude to the Diamond Cutter. DDP ends up winning by DQ after Kurt Hennig came running in before the Diamond Cutter could get hit. A 1.5 for that match. After the match, the NWO members come out. There's an outsider's edge. Hogan and Bischoff enter the ring. They end the show with the NWO members standing tall with debris falling into the ring. Then again, another Sting dummy from the top falls through the canvas. And Hogan and Bischoff laugh together. Hogan says, "What a dummy." Bischoff gives the mic to Hogan. Hogan says Sting is a coward, so another ending with the NWO out there for the fourth time in 4 weeks. But would Sting arrive? Hogan says, "Let me lift up the mask off that dummy. I want to give him a shot." They lift up the mask, and it's the real Sting. Sting still has the cord hanging to him, and he beats up every member of the NWO except for Hollywood Hogan and Bischoff, who are just on the outside looking on in awe. So Sting is back. He was hooked up to his harness still, and he beat up every NWO member in the ring. I rated this Nitro a 6.5 out of 10. I thought the matches were decent, nothing spectacular, and it was good to finally see Sting because it had been weeks. So as they close it on Starrcade 97 with Sting and Hollywood Hogan, these things are going to get even better. I'm Brett Mix. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. I enjoy putting them out there, and I'm out.